Hello viewers and welcome in to episode 21 of season 1 here of our F1 Manager 22 save with the Mercedes team. We've reached the penultimate race of our first season in charge of Mercedes and everything is still to play for. I hope you're doing well. If you are new around here, hit the subscribe button down below to see how we end our season 1 here with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Just to catch up, if you haven't seen the last episode from Mexico, be sure to check that out because there will be some spoiler alerts up ahead. And yeah, we're heading to Brazil, currently 20 points off Ferrari in the constructors standings. A good result here at Brazil and we could be in the lead of the constructors trophy for the first time I think all season long, as we look to become the 9-time consecutive constructors champions. In the driver's side of things, Lewis Hamilton extended his lead slightly by a couple of points from Charles Leclerc after the results in Mexico. Is a really good race. Red Bull showed their form and they absolutely walked away with it result race winners wise, but the battle between Mercedes and Ferrari was absolutely epic, so do be sure to go and check that out. It's a short turnaround here, only 11 days before moving to Brazil, but we do have some stuff to do. Notably, the first thing that we need to do is put the new chassis on Lewis Hamilton's car, because for some reason he doesn't have it and I don't really understand why. So we have, I think, wait, which one is the best one? Yeah, that's the best one. So we're giving him the new chassis, which is fantastic. Does everyone else have everything else? We don't want to design a new front wing. Everyone's got a new version of the front wing, new version of the rear wing, the side pods. We've got the best version there. It's only 2 races, so we do want to make sure we've got the best version of everything and the suspension as well. So good stuff. But what we do want to do is when we fast forward, there's going to be a new update on the aerodynamic testing period, and we need to make sure we put a lot of hours into the underfloor as well as the chassis. So let's fast forward as we've got some research done on the chassis there. Good work by the team. Let's see, chassis research has been completed, so we'll hold off. We won't research a part just yet. Board confidence, everyone has high confidence, that's fantastic. Financial report, let's check our season balance. We've spent a lot recently on parts, so we do have quite a bit of money that went out recently, but I do think we're okay balance wise. We're doing quite good. Cost cap, yeah, we're pretty fine in that aspect as well. Let's continue on their performance targets. Right, qualifying position of 2 cars in the top 6, reach Q3 and reach Q2, that's fine. Finishing position of 1 car in the top 6, again that should be okay, and a qualifying streak as well should be fine. So let's head towards the Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and there's no more emails to worry about. Let's fast forward and hear from Crofty.
The carnival atmosphere has already started here in Sao Paulo as Brazil welcomes the Formula 1 Grand Prix. The Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache has been a staple of the racing calendar for decades, and soon we'll once again be watching the best drivers in the world give it their all. The Sao Paulo track is beautifully designed to present an enticing challenge for teams and drivers alike. Between medium-speed S-corners, hill climbs, and the high-speed section after Junção, this circuit calls for cars to have a balanced setup to succeed here. With the season nearly concluded, time is running out for the teams. Can anyone make a last-minute breakthrough? Can the leading drivers hold on? Only time will tell. The weekend begins here.
Right, so we do have some rain on Saturday, no rain on the Sunday, so that's good. The people of Brazil love Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton loves the people of Brazil. So let's send them out with something to celebrate. And Lewis Hamilton is in contention for his 8th World Drivers' Championship to right the wrongs of what happened against Abu Dhabi last year. Hopefully we can exercise some demons at the end of this season. Right, first things first, car parts. 96, 96, 95. That's all good with Lewis Hamilton. And car parts with George Russell, 93, 70, 95. So I do want to put on some old car parts, I think, because we want to save them for the race. So we're going to do that. Install on car 2 with the engine. 33% wear. We're going to have to keep the ERS because we don't have another one. And George Russell can go with that one on the gearbox, which is at 49%, which is fine. So it's just a worn engine for George Russell because we want things to be as fresh as possible for the race so that we can have optimum power. Setup I won't get into yet, but car parts again for Lewis Hamilton. Engine wise, we're going to go for this one because it seems to be the least worn. Was that 40%? That's fine. It should be able to get us through the practice sessions at least. ERS, go for that one, 35%. Again, the wear is okay. We've got the parts to do it, and the gearbox is fine for Lewis Hamilton as well. It's just we want to make sure that if we crash or if there's an engine blowout in practice or qualifying, we're not using the up-to-date one. So I'm going to work on the car setups, and again, as always, if there's any highlights, I'll bring them to you during the sessions. Max Verstappen then, who isn't really in with a shout of winning the championship this year. I don't think he can hang on to his driver's title in 2022 this season, but he spun. Seems as though maybe the pressure is still getting to him a little bit, and there's a spin as well. Zhou Guanyu in the Alfa Romeo, he has a bit of an accident coming around to the final corner. I like this Brazil circuit. It seems to look very, very good as we ride along with Lewis Hamilton. 7 minutes left in the session. Lewis Hamilton in P9, George Russell in P10, and he's currently racing with a Ferrari there. So yeah, good to know that the competitive spirit between the two teams goes into practice as well. We've done okay on the setups. We've got a lot of feedback. The acclimatization on the track is above 30% as well, so we are doing pretty well there. There's probably a few more laps on their plan. Let's take a look. They're at 39 and 38 laps, so Lewis Hamilton has one more lap after this one. And George Russell has a lap and a half, I think. So they'll both come in to the pits after that. Max Verstappen is topping the timesheets, followed by Charles Leclerc. And again, our target is for Lewis to beat Leclerc, George to beat Sainz, and that way we'll be able to close the gap on Ferrari in the constructors while staying ahead of Charles Leclerc in the Drivers' Championship. So Max Verstappen tops the timesheets at the end of practice one, but huge news here is Charles Leclerc is taking his engine penalty. Now, I don't think he took a major one at Mexico, but he has to take one now, and that means he's going to drop at least 3 to 5 places on qualifying. So that is a huge boost considering we are taking no penalties this weekend at all. We gave Lewis Hamilton and George Russell brand new pretty much everything at Mexico. So that's come in really handy here. Carlos Sainz is managing his engine pretty well. So let's head on to practice 2. Do a little bit more on the setups with Lewis Hamilton's currently at 90. George Russell's at 54. But yeah, that's huge news about Charles Leclerc, and it gives us a huge advantage for the race. Is the pressure starting to build at the Ferrari part of the garage as Carlos Sainz spins there? Currently, we are on a long run with Lewis Hamilton, who's sitting behind the hash. George Russell is on the soft tyres, just trying to get some feedback. Currently in P8 with George Russell on the softs. Lewis Hamilton down in P17, but again, he's just trying to get the track acclimatization as his setup was towards the 90% mark. But yeah, Carlos Sainz with a weird spin there that I wasn't really expecting from him. Charles Leclerc currently sitting in P2. Max Verstappen topping the timesheets once again. Oh, huge crash here with Max Verstappen. Where's he gone? Oh, he's just gone wide. That's not a crash. Unless he's come back on and there's it's a virtual safety car. We're going to leave it Lewis Hamilton out, but we're going to bring George Russell in.
We've just had a spin.
But I'm very confused here. Is there a crash with Magnussen? Why is there a virtual safety car? Spins around coming towards the final turn. Is Verstappen in the pits? No, he's still out, and his car's got no damage.
It's a crash.
Oh, Kevin Magnussen's crashed at turn 1. All right, there's a lot of incidents here. After Kevin Magnussen's spin, he stayed out and he locks up. The tyre's obviously gone cold, and he's just gone off at turn 1 and gone into the barrier. So yeah, that is a virtual safety car period. I hope Kevin Magnussen is okay. I wouldn't be surprised if Haas were looking to replace him. He's had a lot of crashes this season. George Russell's coming into the pits because he's on his longer run and he's come to the end of it. So let's see what he does. Yeah, he just peels into the pits now. Yeah, decent session for the Mercedes guys. Let's take a look and see what George Russell's setup is as he comes in. Let's take a look here. 97%, 3 optimals and 2 great. So we'll try to maybe play around with it to try and get that 100, but if we can't, we'll send him out on hard tires in practice 3. And yeah, we'll just get the track acclimatization up because it's currently at 59%. We'll leave George Russell in for the rest of the session as Lewis Hamilton is currently on 73% for the track acclimatization. His setup was around about 92%, if I remember correctly, last time we brought him in. And we're just going to leave him out now until the end of this session. Championship contender Charles Leclerc spins at turn 1. We saw the pressure reach Lewis Hamilton in Mexico where he spun last time out, as George Russell's setup is now optimal. So I think we're sorted with his setup. We're going to just leave him out and get that track acclimatization up. But yeah, in Mexico, Lewis Hamilton did spin and managed to recover. It'll be interesting to see if Charles Leclerc can do the same thing. Setup wise, yeah, optimal for George Russell, 73% on the track acclimatization. So he's just going to stay out and try to push towards that 100%. Lewis Hamilton was on a 97, so we made a little adjustment to see if we can get to that 100 mark, and he's on 83% for the track acclimatization. As long as there's no incidents, fingers crossed, we are going to hopefully have a bit of a boring session and just get hundreds on everything, and then we can look towards qualifying and getting ahead of the Ferrari boys. So Lewis Hamilton is in the pits now, 92% on the track acclimatization, but setup wise, we can only get him to a 97%, so that's okay. We're just going to keep him on the hard tires for the rest of the session. Run plan, we'll just put him out for another 20 laps or so, keep him out for the end of the session, and hopefully get towards that 100%. So yeah, 100%, 97% on the setup for Lewis Hamilton. George Russell is still out there. We don't want to call him in yet, but it said optimal on the feedback, so I'm assuming it'll be over 95% at the very least for the setup. Yeah, bringing George Russell in, it's a 97% for him as well, so we can't get the 100%, which isn't too bad, but it is what it is. We're going to send him back out just for the final bit on these hard tires. 15 laps, let him put in a couple of fast ones. Right, there's been a crash in qualifying which has caused a yellow flag, which has made George Russell slow down, so we could be in a little bit of trouble because Kevin Magnussen has crashed yet again at turn 1, locking up and going straight into the barrier. But that is just at the minute George Russell reached that part of the circuit, and George Russell is down in P10. So if he's the only one that's really affected by that yellow flag, there could be a bit of trouble here if the guys behind do speed up a little bit. So we're going to follow along with George Russell, and we're going to see, yeah, first sector has gone yellow. So that has not worked out in our favor whatsoever, because everyone behind George Russell pretty much had a clear track and were able to go racing. So we're going to have to watch out for the likes of Daniel Ricciardo. We're going to have to watch out for the likes of Alonso, Zhou Guanyu. We really don't need George Russell knocked out of Q1 here. I think we should be okay. I hope we're okay, but I don't think George Russell's going faster. He's not at all. Is Lewis Hamilton going faster? No, he's not. We did send them out on used tyres, so maybe that's a bit of the problem. But we're going to have to watch now because George Russell's down in P10. Okay. He is not improved, so we have to watch here as Daniel Ricciardo is coming towards the start-finish straight. Does he go faster than George Russell? He doesn't. Oh, who does though? Pierre Gasly does. Fernando Alonso does. But we should just be okay, I think. Because I don't see Albon or Latifi going faster. It could be Tsunoda. But George Russell down in P11. Lewis Hamilton in P4. Not the most comfortable of qualifying ones there. But we are through there quite comfortably. Let's have a look as Yuki Tsunoda comes across the line. Does he go faster than George Russell, or were we okay? We were okay, and Yuki Tsunoda has been knocked out. Right, we are on intermediate tyres, so we're going straight out because the rain is coming down now. And it's only going to get a little bit more hard. So,
down here now.
yeah, Lewis Hamilton is going out and George Russell is going straight out after. The intermediate should be okay for at least one flying lap, I think, as George Russell's going to be held up there by Mick Schumacher. Lewis Hamilton was held up, I think, by Daniel Ricciardo, but we've set our time. Right, so with 3.5 minutes to go, the rain has stopped raining, but the track is wet conditions. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz are currently in the bottom 5, which is huge news because if they can't improve their times, they're going out, and Charles Leclerc has that grid penalty. So we're going to fast forward a little bit and see, because if they're going out on wet tyres, there is no way they'll improve. The 2 Ferraris are out. They're on intermediates. We're going to send out both of our guys just to make sure that we are okay. And we've just sent them out on intermediates as well. But my goodness, this could be close for the Ferraris. With 2 minutes to go, they're currently eliminated in Q2. I don't think the Ferrari's going to do it. This track is not getting dry enough. Let's take a look at our sectors. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton both gone yellow. And as you can see, we're riding along with Charles Leclerc. That's Carlos Sainz just in front. And Carlos Sainz is currently holding up his teammate and the championship contender along with Lewis Hamilton. I don't think these Ferraris will have enough pace to knock out the likes of Alonso. They're coming towards the start-finish straight now as George Russell has spun. We'll take a look at that replay in a minute. Carlos Sainz crosses the lines and he's through. So is Charles Leclerc. How have they managed that then? How have they managed that? Let's take a look at George Russell and his spin. In the wet conditions, a bit tricky. He lost the back end and he held up a Red Bull there. So that could be a bit problematic for one of them. Sergio Perez. Where is Sergio Perez? As he finished his lap, he crosses the line and he is through as well. So Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, they just about managed it. I don't know how, but they just about did. Pierre Gasly and Ocon and Lando Norris, along with Zhou Guan Yu, all out in Q2. And so final fast laps then of Q3. And we're riding along with George Russell, who's currently in provisional P8 after a poor-ish first run, I think. Although it is quite close between Bottas, Alonso, and Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton's in P5. What we need to remember is Charles Leclerc does have an engine penalty and will be taking at least, I think, 3 places, if not more. We're riding along with George Russell and he has gone green at personal best first sector, as has Lewis Hamilton. We need George Russell in front of the Alpines because remember, our aims here, we need George Russell to finish ahead of Sainz and we need Lewis Hamilton to finish ahead of Leclerc. If we're not able to run away with race wins, and I don't think we will because Max Verstappen is flying this weekend at Brazil. The Red Bulls have really shown some pace here towards the end of the season as cars are now coming to finish their fly-in lap. We're going to call him in once it's done, but George Russell crosses the line and he's up to P7 and P7 only. That is not the best lap from George Russell at all. And he's behind Valtteri Bottas. What can Lewis Hamilton do behind then? He is in P5 and he's not improved either. And it's Max Verstappen who is pole position once again. Charles Leclerc is second, but he will be taking the grid penalty. It's a Red Bull 1-2 and Carlos Sainz in P3. So Lewis Hamilton is behind one Ferrari and I'm sure there's going to be some team orders to try and hold him up. I thought we would be a bit faster than this, but it's going to have to come down to strategy again if we're going to win this race. George Russell down in P8. That is the worst qualifying for him in a while and a real disappointment at a time that we really needed him.
The grid is packed and there's electricity in the air, but there's no surprises in that. It's race day.
We saw a reasonable push from Mercedes in qualifying, and they'll have plenty of opportunities here to achieve a great result. We saw a reasonably good qualifying performance from Ferrari, and they certainly have a good chance to capitalize during the race. A sunny day here with only a few clouds in the sky. If things stay this way, the weather shouldn't pose any challenges to the teams.
And when it comes down to it, there's simply no telling what will happen here in the ups and downs of Sao Paulo.
Right, the build-up has happened. We've got clear skies then ahead of Sunday's race. Let's take a look at our starting positions. Lewis Hamilton's in P4, George Russell's in P6. So it's not all too bad, but considering Carlos Sainz is in P3, we do need George Russell to do some overtaking. Right, strategy-wise, what are they suggesting? Medium, medium, hard, medium, hard, medium, soft, hard, medium. Well, we do have a set of softs, which are usable. If we wanted to go aggressive, oh, the tire wear around here is very, very difficult. I think I want to end on soft. I do think I want to end this race on soft tires, especially if they're at least durable for 10 or so laps, maybe, or 15 laps. So what I might do with Lewis Hamilton, and again, we can always mess around with this. I want to start on mediums. We should be okay to lap 25. We then go on to the hards until around about lap 60. And then we want to go on to softs till the end of the race. I think that's what I want to do with Lewis Hamilton, because I do want to be on soft tires to end this race in case we need to either create a gap or in case we need to do some catching up. So let's update that. And we're going to do that with Lewis Hamilton. We're going to start on the mediums, go on to the hards, and then move on to the softs. And then with George Russell, do we be as aggressive as well? I think so, because remember last time out in Mexico, we were very, very good on the medium tires. So I do think we're going to do mediums, softs, and we're going to go lap 25, hards, 59, soft. Right. I'm going to do that. So both our drivers started on the mediums. Let's make sure. So lap 25 and lap 59 for George Russell. And it is lap 25 and lap 60 for Lewis Hamilton. Let's go lap 24. Then we'll do that. We'll do that. Should be okay, because Lewis Hamilton is all right with his tyres. Right. Sao Paulo Grand Prix. They've been favourable in the past. Who can ever forget the memorable drive from Lewis Hamilton last season after the sprint race in that rocket ship of a Mercedes? Let's hope that we can do the same again this year.
Grid under mostly sunny skies. And here we've got Lewis Hamilton. They might not be in the top 3 spots, but things could change fast once the race gets underway. And here we can see Russell. Not as close to the front as they might have wished for, but we know the race order can change a lot during those first few corners. Everything's been building to this. And now, it's time for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Right, here we go then. And George Russell and Lewis Hamilton have both got a pretty decent start. Right, where's Charles Leclerc? He's down in P8. So that is okay. It's not too far. We've got Lewis Hamilton currently challenging Carlos Sainz. Can we get down the inside here? If we can jump Carlos Sainz on lap 1, that will be fantastic. Let's go aggressive on the tyres and try to get this move done down the inside here. Oh, Lewis Hamilton is brave. He's cut the corner a little bit, and they're still going side by side. This Ferrari is so fast. Can Lewis Hamilton get this pass done? We need it on lap 1. He's not been able to do it just yet. But, all right, we're going to go down to standard now because we don't want to waste the tyres too much. Let's take a look at the tyre choices. Everyone apart from Lando Norris, Kevin Magnussen, and Albon are on medium. So we made the right choice pretty much there. George Russell, we need him to get past. We need him to get past Fernando Alonso pretty quickly. But behind George Russell already is Charles Leclerc, as there's been a crash. There's been a crash, I think, further down in the grid. Let's take a look at the replay.
Let's take a look at the replay. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
It involves Kevin Magnussen again, who spins and then hits Alpha. Oh, that's a massive traffic jam. A massive traffic jam. I think it's okay now. but George Russell is coming under attack from Charles Leclerc here, and we need him to stay in front of Leclerc. We need him to stay in front of Leclerc. While Lewis Hamilton is... George Russell's locked up. Has he crashed? No, don't get started again. George Russell, what are you doing? How did you lock up? What did you do?
Let's have a look. Now, just watch the Mercedes here.
It's lap 1 and George Russell has binned it. We were in such a good position, and George Russell is now... Is he out of the race?
Now let's look at
He's locked up and he's kind of beached at the minute. He's not got started again yet. He's down in P19. P19. Well, this could be the end of our hopes of a Constructors' Championship. As now, Charles Leclerc, who was in a negative position down in P8, is now up to P6. At the wrong time of the race, it's still so early. Charles Leclerc, he's overtaken Lewis Hamilton, and this Ferrari is absolutely rapid. And Charles Leclerc is now up into P4. But Lewis Hamilton is going to look to overtake the Ferrari, but they've got DRS open. I'm not sure we're going to have the speed here. This Ferrari is so fast. As Charles Leclerc sets the fastest lap of the race, but we're going to look around the outside of turn 1, heading towards turn 2. Come on, Lewis, be brave. If you want this world championship, you're going to have to do it the hard way here, because this Charles Leclerc Ferrari is rapid, and it looks as though Carlos Sainz is letting him through. Carlos Sainz has let his teammate through, and now we are in big trouble. Take a look here. He's fighting with Sergio Perez. They're going side by side. Oh man, it looks right now Charles Leclerc looks like he's the favorite for this race win, and Lewis Hamilton's down in P5. Remember, in the driver standings, we've currently got a 5-point gap as George Russell is stuck behind Lance Stroll in P16. Everything has just gone everything's just gone downhill right now. Can we get a little bit of positivity here and get back past Carlos Sainz as Charles Leclerc is challenging Sergio Perez? Please, Red Bull, do us a favor. You're not our best friends. We're not your best friends, but do us a favor here. Lewis Hamilton doesn't have the speed to get past Carlos Sainz. Does he do it on the switchback here? No, he doesn't. Let's deploy a little bit of ERS with the DRS open as well, but we need to be careful because Fernando Alonso is right there. Lewis Hamilton, can you make a dive down the inside? No, you can't. You're looking for it, but Carlos Sainz is now holding up Lewis Hamilton. It's taken until around about lap 15, but Lewis Hamilton has finally got past Carlos Sainz. But the amount that Carlos Sainz has held up Lewis here, we aren't really in with a chance of the race win whatsoever. Let's take a look at the circuit as Lewis Hamilton is still side by side with Carlos Sainz.
Really well executed.
I don't even know what is going on here, but out in front, Charles Leclerc has passed Sergio Perez. So right now, what's that? 18 points plus 1 for the fastest lap of the race for Charles Leclerc. That's 19 points, 15, and then 12. Charles Leclerc will take the lead of the Drivers' Championship if he does, if he finishes second with the fastest lap, and we will stay in P2, and it will be a gap of maybe about 2 points. Constructors wise, I think Ferrari will guarantee themselves the win unless we have a 1-2 and one of the Ferraris retire, because George Russell hasn't managed to fight back. He's still currently down in P12. It's going to take a lot for him to now come back. We're going to go aggressive on the tyres now. We're going to push hard with George Russell because we need to get up to P5, P6 roughly, if we can do. Lewis Hamilton, what can you do? What can you do? Is there going to be a safety car in our destiny maybe? As he's fighting again with Carlos Sainz. Is Carlos Sainz going to get by him? Yes, he is. Don't allow Fernando Alonso to get past you. Please, that will make things even worse.
Well done. Right,
so the leaders of this race are now starting to pit. We are going ultra attack with Lewis Hamilton as George Russell overtakes Ricciardo. Doesn't really matter. We'll take a look at the replay though. As yeah, George Russell gets that move done on Daniel Ricciardo. It's comfortably down the inside there, but Lewis Hamilton is now going to absolutely push, and then we're going to bring him in, and we're also going to attack with George Russell as well, just for this in lap. Right, Here we go. Lewis Hamilton box onto hard tyres. Box this lap. That's fine. And then George Russell do the same thing as well. Box this lap onto hard tyres. Right, we should be okay. Come on. Lewis Hamilton, what have you got for us? This in-lap needs to be one of the best in-laps you've ever done. 37% on the tyres. Okay, Charles Leclerc is in the pits and he's followed Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen's comfortably in the lead of this race as he's coming round the final corner now. Lewis Hamilton's in the pits then. Here we go. Can we get out ahead of Carlos Sainz? You can see in the distance there, Max Verstappen. Right, they're doing medium, hard, I think. We've done medium, hard, and we're going to end on soft. There goes Lewis Hamilton. Let's take a look at the tyre choices of Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez. Right, have we made a mistake coming onto hards? Have we made a mistake coming into hards? As Carlos Sainz is now coming around the corner, you can see it. Who's going to get out first? I think it's Carlos Sainz just. The gap isn't going to be too big, but we do need to get out ahead of Fernando Alonso, who is in that battle as well, and we do just about do that. Right, okay. We're going on aggressive on the hard tyre, just for a little bit. Actually, no, we're going to go longer than them, so we're going to stay standard. George Russell in P9, he will get out ahead of Lando Norris, I think he does. Yeah, so George Russell is a net P9. That is good for him. But yeah. Oh, it's not looking good for Mercedes right now.
We're just watching the Red Bull.
No, Sergio Perez, no. He's gone off, and now Charles Leclerc is going to be free. Charles Leclerc is free up in second place. Oh, man. What is happening at this Brazil Grand Prix? Ferrari are just doing everything here, as Lewis Hamilton he's more defending Fernando Alonso than he is attacking Carlos Sainz. There's a yellow flag as Ricciardo has spun again.
Now just take a look at the McLaren.
I don't know what's happening. I can't believe what's happening here. Right, Lewis Hamilton, we might need to start going aggressive soon as Carlos Sainz is going defensive. These hard tyres are not really working out the way that we would like as we go around the outside of Carlos Sainz. Come on, Lewis, this is for the World Championship, man. We need you to do something. We don't have the car this weekend, but he's down the inside of Carlos Sainz up into P4, and yeah, now we just need to kind of hope for a mistake or something, because as things stand right now, Charles Leclerc is overtaking Lewis Hamilton at the top of the driver's standings, and Ferrari are winning the constructors title. Right, Carlos Sainz has come in for his second pit stop of the race, and he has come in for hard tyres, so he's going to end the race on the hard tyres now. They're going, what, 26 laps? So we've still got on our strategy another 13 laps. Lewis Hamilton is comfortably in P4. The hard tyres are doing all right now, so it should be okay. George Russell's been told to push a little bit just to try and gain onto the back of Esteban Ocon, and he's doing all right so far with consistent lap times. But Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, they're coming in to end on hard tyres. Max Verstappen's ending on the hard tyres too. It would just be interesting to see, really, how our soft tyres work at the end of this race, because, yeah, we just kind of have to go aggressive and we're going to have to push it. So if we needed any evidence that we aren't in a race with Charles Leclerc today, and it's just about maximising as many points as possible, he is just overtaking us, even though he's done more pit stops. So that is not the best thing. Lewis Hamilton currently in P3, but he seems to be struggling on the tyres. What's the gap to Carlos Sainz? It's about... we might have to switch here. I don't think these hard tyres are really working. To do another 8 laps, I think Carlos Sainz will probably close that gap on us. So what we're going to do is we are... do we stick to it? 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 Not really sure, to be honest. I think George Russell, there's no real point sticking to it. Because look at on the medium tyre, we're being overtaken by the AlphaTauri. Let's take a look at the last lap times. Yeah, Carlos Sainz is 2 seconds faster than us a lap. So we're going to box in with Lewis Hamilton now, and we're going to come onto medium tires with Lewis. And the medium tires should go until the end of the race. A final 21 laps. We've had to change the strategy because these hard tires are now falling off quite a bit time-wise. And I think Carlos Sainz might be quite clear of us. George Russell, he might as well just stick to it. He's not got anything to lose down in P8, to be honest with you. Valtteri Bottas is behind, gaining about a second a lap, as Lewis Hamilton's in for brand new medium tyres. It's a pretty quick pit stop, but you can see on the radar there, Carlos Sainz is coming around the corner now. He's used about 12% of his lap tyre now. We might have messed up with this strategy, guys. We've messed up with this strategy. As Fernando Alonso pitted in as well. So, yeah, Ocon has to box. If Lewis Hamilton wants to make the best of this bad situation, he's going to have to catch and pass Carlos Sainz, who is currently about 7 seconds down the road. Oh, we might have life. We might have lifeline. Right, Lewis Hamilton, box. Fresh softs. Box right now. I don't know where he is on the circuit. We need to box in for fresh softs now. There's a safety car. Who's out? Max Verstappen is out. Oh, no, that means Charles Leclerc's going to lead.
Oh, and that's a crash.
That means Charles Leclerc's going to lead. Oh, no.
The Red Bull.
Max Verstappen, what happened? You were so in control. You've locked up heading into turn 1 and you smashed into the wall. Oh, my goodness. Right. Lewis Hamilton is going to box as we see the incident finish there. Right, Charles Leclerc stayed out. Lewis Hamilton is coming in for fresh softs. There's a visual glitch there. He should be coming in for softs. He doesn't have softs on already. And we're just going to go for it now. George Russell is already on the soft tires, so we're going to conserve, and we're going to harvest as well. Okay. Is anyone else coming in? I don't think so. So Lewis Hamilton is going to be down to P7.
Charge it back.
Potentially. If no one else... I thought a couple more... I thought the likes of Alonso and Bottas will come in. All right, P6 for Lewis Hamilton. With soft tyres, though... Right, we're going to conserve, and harvest. We should have...
And just charge the pack.
We should have the better tyres to end this race. We've gone aggressive. We might have about 10 laps. And we're going to need to make about 7 overtakes here on fresh soft tyres. Well, we have been screwed by the safety car again. Because as you can see, they've not allowed the cars through. And Lewis Hamilton is right at the back of the pack. As Charles Leclerc is now gone. The back blockers need to get out of the way. And they need to get out of the way quickly. George Russell hasn't even caught up to the back of the pack yet. We're just going to have to attack and go for it. I don't really... This is a mess. This is an absolute mess. I know it's not the rule with Formula 1. But this glitch is not... This is not smart. There should be something in sort of a patch to get rid of that. And I don't just mean it because of now, but that's just stupid. That is just stupid. Just let the cars go through. Yeah, that's a bit annoying. Lewis Hamilton's now down to 6. I don't think we're going to have enough time to get past all of the back markers and then catch up to the back of Bottas, Alonso, or even Sainz. So, yeah, the risk that I thought was going to be a smart one has been an annoying one, as yeah, the back markers are now just in the way. We're on the charge as Lewis Hamilton has closed the gap and passed Valtteri Bottas. So that's 1 spot up on the race grid here. We're currently in P5 as things stand, behind Fernando Alonso. I think we're just going to use these tyres right until the very end. If we're 2 seconds behind Alonso now, we should be able to catch and pass, as George Russell is now catching the back of Valtteri Bottas. Does McLaren get out of the way? Yes, he does. Right. Yeah, we're just going to have to keep pushing, I think. That's the only real way we've got any chances. Now we can watch Lewis Hamilton attacking Fernando Alonso. If we can get by him, maybe there's a chance here at Carlos Sainz and a podium, potentially. If we can get him on this lap, We will do our best to. So we're going to deploy some ERS with both of our drivers. George Russell is right behind Valtteri Bottas there. So he's done okay to pretty much recover. But Charles Leclerc is out in front. And somehow he's checked out and he's going to get the easiest win of his life. Lewis Hamilton down the inside at turn 1. Gets past Fernando Alonso. And that is him up into P4. Great drive from Lewis Hamilton there. And next up on the road, 1.8 seconds away, is Ferrari teammate to Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz.
Let's look at this. Here's George Russell.
George Russell down the inside of Valtteri Bottas. He's up another place. And I think you can see Fernando Alonso just up ahead as well. So, a good recovery drive here from George Russell. As you can now see him go in for a move on Fernando Alonso for P5. If we could get P4 and P5, that would be fantastic, as Lewis Hamilton is attacking Carlos Sainz. All of a sudden, these soft tyres are bringing us into contention. We're 4 seconds off the race here, off the race lead here with Lewis Hamilton. I don't know how. The tyres are doing okay, and we've only got 6 laps left. Let's take a look at the replay again. I don't even know when Lewis Hamilton caught up to the back of Carlos Sainz there, but the brave decision seems to have worked. And now we're on the podium with Lewis Hamilton. George Russell here looking to make a move on Carlos Sainz with the DRS open. These soft tyres are working really well for George Russell. We've kind of pushed them a bit too hard with Lewis Hamilton, but you can see Sergio Perez there in the distance. I don't think we're going to have enough to catch up to him because the tyre wear of these soft tyres with 1 lap to go is now dropping. We're at 30%. We might as well just go on attack all the way to the end of this race now, as George Russell is past Carlos Sainz. A really, really good move there from George Russell. He's recovered up to P4. Brilliant drive for him. He's now actually done his part. Can you imagine if he didn't spin, what would have happened? Let's take a look at the replay with George Russell
just watch the Mercedes
in the DRS zone, down the inside. It's a comfortable move, and hopefully he now stays ahead of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton, we just have to push. We just have to push these tyres as someone else is locked up. Even though we're in sort of dangerous tyre wear range, it's the only chance that we've really got. Here comes Charles Leclerc then around the final corner at Sao Paulo, and he is going to take the checkered flag and somehow win the Brazilian Grand Prix. Unbelievable from him. Sergio Perez crosses the line in P2. There is Lewis Hamilton, crosses the line in P3. George Russell, does he stay ahead of Carlos Sainz? Yes, he does. P4 for George Russell, P5 for Carlos Sainz. Fernando Alonso in P6, Ocon in P7. A big amount of points there for Alpine. Bottas in P8, Zhou Guanyu in P9, and Daniel Ricciardo with the final points paying position. What a race. I'm happy with the fact that Lewis got on the podium and George Russell finished 4th. That's some decent points for the team, but not great points for the team at all. And Ferrari probably extend their advantage at the top of the constructors. And that's a big swing in the Drivers' Championship. That's 25 points for Leclerc.
Lewis Hamilton did okay here today. Never have a team been more deserving of a podium. Everyone must be ecstatic. The highly decorated record breaker from Stevenage, once again taking to the podium. But there we have all 3 drivers that are taking home the silverware, along with the most valuable points. There's no doubt that Mercedes have a lot of potential. Now they need to figure out how to make it work for them.
Yes, this was a contrasted performance, but there were some good moments. There is promise here of great things down the line.
At the end of the weekend, it's 2nd place in the constructor standings for them.
Formula One has almost reached its conclusion this year. Meet us next time in Abu Dhabi, between the desert and the sea, for an enthralling finale.
So there you have it. Race winner Charles Leclerc, despite taking an engine penalty and starting down in P8, takes the race win ahead of Sergio Perez and Lewis Hamilton in P3. I really felt confident going into this race weekend, and now that sucker punch has put us on the back foot. Drivers wise, Charles Leclerc leads by 2 points. My maths, oh yeah, Lewis Hamilton extended in Mexico. That's my bad. It's a 2-point lead, which now means if we win, if Charles Leclerc wins in Abu Dhabi, he is the world champion. If we win in Abu Dhabi, we are the world champion with Lewis Hamilton. But, if we finish second, Charles Leclerc finishes third, Lewis Hamilton is the world champion. There, any sort of mixed match can happen. I think the first thing to say is I don't think we're getting pole position. Lewis Hamilton doesn't have a single pole position. George Russell has one, but yeah, I don't think we're going to get pole. We need the Red Bull. If the Red Bulls can go 1-2, that's fine. Max Verstappen run away with the win. Sergio Perez finished second. That's fine. I can deal with that. It will then come down to 3, 4, 5, and 6. George Russell, we're going to need you. Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc's going to need you. But what a finale we've got in store for the Drivers' Championship. George Russell in P5. Carlos Sainz overtaking Max Verstappen for P3. What a turnaround for him, second half of the season. And Max Verstappen, his form has just completely dropped. Fernando Alonso overtakes Valtteri Bottas for P7. Constructors-wise, yeah, I think it's done. Currently 27-point difference between Mercedes and Ferrari. So we would pretty much need a 1-2 if we want any chance of winning the Constructors' Championship. So I want to probably say congratulations to Ferrari. You've deserved this Constructors' title this season. It's been a great race. But that's going to bring about the end of this episode at Brazil. What a dramatic episode it was, as George Russell has a development point. We will spend that in the next episode. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. All of our sponsorship money has come in, and I'll see you for the next episode, the finale of season 1 at Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi for the final Grand Prix of the season. Take care, stay safe. If you are new around here, hit the subscribe button down below, like the video if you are enjoying the content, and I'll see you for the grand final.